Hello, everyone, and welcome to Really Old Movies. I'm your host, Harrison Scullin. Today, we got a show for you. I'll be talking about the Sergei Eisenstein film Strike from 1924, as well as playing some Minecraft. And so, with that, let's get the show started. Let's get the show started. All right. So there won't be an animated short review today. I'll be scheduling those out in advance, and I'll be just doing the movie review before some Minecraft. But I do want to make an announcement. So for the foreseeable future, I will not be doing weekly live streams like this. They will go back to once a month, like I was doing a couple weeks ago. I've just had a really hectic schedule, and some in real life stuff has come up school wise, work wise, and whatnot that I need to put more focus and attention to. Uh, as this is a hobby, it is not my job or anything like that. And so it'll be on the back burner for a while, probably until the new year. But I'll still be doing the once a month live streams, and I'll be doing the Gable's Gal series where I review Clark Gable films because he starred with a lot of the same female co-stars in several films. So that'll be starting near the end of this month. But I just wanted to make that known today. But we'll be doing some Minecraft today. And I think every once in a while I'll probably have time to do a gaming live stream, but it won't be consistent. Don't expect anything every week or anything like that. It's just due to the really busy schedule, and I got to focus on school and work and whatnot. So that's just giving you a heads up. It's a more busy time of the year with the Christmas and Halloween and Thanksgiving coming up. Those tend to be really busy for school and for work for me. So, yeah. But now we'll get started with the movie review for today. So, let me hear the audio for a second. But now, perfect. All right. There it is. Now we'll get into today's movie review. All right. Okay. Just getting a message here real quick. Sorry, guys. Ah. Oh, okay. Cool. So I'm also working a lot in church, so I just got something resolved from church. Alright, but now we'll get into today's movie review. Alright, everyone, so today's movie review is Strike from 1924 from Sergei Eisenstein. You may know him from his film Battleship Potemkin. And this movie right here is his first film, and an early example, especially during the silent era, of what a propaganda film is like. And so now let me show you the plot according to the critic list description. Workers in a factory in pre-revolutionary Russia go on strike and are met by violent suppression. Alright, so let me share my thoughts on the plot. So the plot, I actually gave it a 4 out of 5. I think Sergei Eisenstein, he's well known for his crazy and insane visuals and editing style and montages and whatnot. He's very good and very excellent at that. But I actually thought some of the characters were pretty intriguing in this, especially the ones like, I want to say one of them was named like Monkey, Fox, like those guys. It was a very funny introduction to them. But they're also interesting characters, they're kind of on the inside, right? But story-wise, it kind of just shows what it was like in revolutionary Russia. Now, I know it is a propaganda film, so I don't know to what extent it's true and whatnot. I don't know a whole lot about this era. Quite frankly, I don't know a lot about Russian history in general, just kind of basic stuff. But nonetheless, though, I was pretty engaged with the story. I thought it progressed very well. It kind of ended, in a very kind of dark spot with the soldiers at the end, kind of killing everybody and slaughtering them. And I love the visual. It's pretty gruesome, but I love the visual of the cow being slaughtered as all the people are being shot down and whatnot. He's just loads his films with lots of visuals like that. That kind of gets you, feeling and like, oh man, this is horrible and whatnot. It invokes an emotion in you, and I think he does very, very well here, and that's why I gave it a 4. It's not perfect. I will say I would have liked more engaging characters that we see throughout the film. There's a couple of them, but really the main focus of watching this film and the story is kind of overall how it affected so many people. So anyways, that's why I gave the plot a 4 out of 5. Okay, for acting, I also gave it a 4 out of 5. I thought most of the actors are really good, but there's no one that really stood out to me because we didn't really connect with any of the characters. They're all, I would say, a little bit more one-dimensional in that we just see, a character and he makes a crazy face or whatever. We don't get to know who they are as people, really. It definitely is more so like little hints of characters where we'd be like, oh, okay, I know somebody kind of like that, or oh, I relate to somebody like that. They're kind of more of avatars for the audience, if that makes sense. So the acting was good, but there was no real standouts to me. Everybody was kind of on the same level acting wise, but it's still excellent. I mean, the style of acting from the silent era is always so interesting to me, just how they can evoke so much emotion with just their eyes and just their movement and whatnot, and how animated they could be. It's very theatrical. It's a very theatrical style of acting, so I give it a 4 out of 5. Alright, let's move on to the directing. So that's Sergei Eisenstein there. I always thought he looked kind of crazy with his poofy hair like that. I gave the directing a 4.5 out of 5. I thought he did a really good job here, like I was mentioning, with how he was invoking the emotions, especially by the end with the different camera angles and the different, like the cow being slaughtered, or like the visuals of people dying, and it's always kind of quick. I wouldn't say gore because it's not really gory at all, but it's quick, shocking visuals. He did a fantastic job here, and he really led all those people. There's thousands of people, it seemed, by the end of it. Just this huge crowd of people. He did a really good job of telling them what to do and putting them in their place. No one stood out, or anything in it stood out to where I was like, oh yeah, this is just a movie. Like, it felt really real. Because they were outside a lot. There's no real set pieces. It was all, like, real locations, it looked like. And just the grime of the characters in the factory and whatnot, and the railroad tracks that they were using, it felt real. Like, it felt like we were really in the grime of it all with the characters. So he really captured that very, very well. So that's why I gave him a 4.5 out of 5. Alright, let's move on to cinematography and special effects. 5 out of 5. It is so amazing, even for nowadays. I love at the very beginning, we're introduced to a character, but it's like an animal first, so like a monkey, and then it fades and it turns into the real guy, and that was really cool. Some of the camera angles, it was disturbing, but some of the camera angles near the end of like the soldiers on horses chasing the people and going up into their apartments and whatnot are pretty striking and pretty crazy. The factory scenes were crazy. All around, the camera work was just so good, and I also love the visual of like the wheel turning, and sometimes there were title cards that were kind of moving around too that were animated. It was really, really cool. I loved it. 5 out of 5. Amazing stuff. Probably the highlight of the film, honestly, for me. That's kind of why I watched the Sergei Eisenstein films. I'm no Soviet or anything like that, but I do love the visual effects. It's the strong suit of his movies for sure, with this and Battleship Potemkin. So yeah, that's why I gave it a 5 out of 5. Okay, the music. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. The version I saw, I think, was the Kino Lorber version. I didn't research it, but I'm pretty sure it's the original score. But you never know. What is here is pretty striking and whatnot. I do think the music in Battleship Potemkin is better. That score I do know for sure is from it. Um, it's more foreboding and more, intense and whatnot. In this movie, not as much. It's not as memorable as that one, at least for me. So that's why I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. And also because I don't know if the version I saw was the original or not. Alright, so tallying that all up, that brings my score to a 4.1 out of 5, my critic list percentage to an 82%. So now let me break down my overall critic list score. Graphic language, none. Violence, some brief gore from actual cow being killed. They actually cut a cow's neck, drain blood and all that. It was very gory, but very brief. There was a lot of dead characters, but no blood or anything like that with them. There's some characters who die in a fire. One of the characters is kind of drunk. It kind of screams as something falls on her. It's very brief, but horrifying. All around, though, the violence, while brief, kind of does scar you a bit. But it's not gory, really. It's very, very brief violence. Very surprising for a film from the silent era, for sure. And I guess that reminded me a lot of Battleship Potemkin. Same thing. It was pretty gory and pretty intense, too, for a silent film. It was crazy. Alright, in regards to nudity, sexual content, none. Political bias, this is a Soviet propaganda film, so this is very, very left-leaning. What's interesting to me is when I watch these movies, and the more I've studied about, like I said, I don't know a whole lot, but when I have studied about the Soviet era, it's very interesting how effective propaganda can be. I mean, we are all guilty of it. We all see it nowadays too, especially, but it's very interesting how you can sway emotions with just visuals, right? Like with the movie here. I don't know with this film, but I do know with Battleship Potemkin, for example, the Odessa sequence at the end of the film where the soldiers coming down shooting and whatnot, that actually never happened. So that's pretty interesting. But it was effective, right? It's also interesting because this movie is made after the revolution's already happened, right? It's kind of a retrospective looking at, oh, isn't it great how we are now? We're so much better than when we were in the grimy, what do you call it? In the factories and whatnot. And yet, so this movie came out in 24. Well, in I think it was 21, there was a major famine and lots of people died. Lots of people died in the revolution too, with the White Army and against the Red Army and whatnot. It was very devastating. So I imagine a lot of these films were kind of trying to regain public trust. It's like, hey, remember this? Hey, remember, how crazy it was before the revolution? I don't know if it was much better. That's just me personally. But anyways, it's a very left-leaning because it's Soviet propaganda. It's literally the textbook definition of left and propaganda. Alright, in regards to family friendly, not at all. I would not show a kid this. This is pretty disturbing film. Entertainment value, surprisingly, there were some funny moments in it. It was crazy. Some of the characters had some funny dialogue and funny scenes. It was kind of weird. Especially because Battleship Potemkin is just super serious, and this actually has some light moments in it. And I think I remember reading somewhere that a lot of people resonate more with this movie because it feels a little bit more like there's more people involved, right? We feel more connected to them. I could definitely see that. So then overall, would I recommend this movie? I would actually, for fans of video editing and filmmaking in general, it's a great example of what people were capable of in the silent era. Um, Also, I think the main reason is to watch it for the visuals and the editing, not so much the characters or the dialogue or even the story. Really, it's a pretty generic, basic story. Um, I also think everybody should see this. This gives a glimpse into how effective propaganda can be, especially in movies, and how the Soviets, despite their limitations as a nation, were able to make some pretty creative work here, like they did here. So I give all credit to Sergei Eisenstein. He was a very good filmmaker, a visionary filmmaker, and very creative filmmaker, which I think is very interesting, considering how it was at Soviet Russia, right? But yeah, I gave it a 4.1 out of 5. I recommend this movie, um, just on the fact of the visuals alone, but also for the other elements with it. All right, well, those are my thoughts on Strike from 1924, and that concludes today's movie review. All right, so let's close that out. And that. All right, perfect, we're still sounding good. All right, so I'm gonna move this guy over here. Oh, where did that go? There it is. Perfect. All right, so now let's launch some Minecraft. Let me send a message real quick, guys. Oops. Gotta switch the screen. There we go. All right, perfect. Let's hear how we're sounded on YouTube here. Actually, let me check Rumble. Let's hear how we're sounded on YouTube here. Let me turn down the music. It's a little loud here. Let's try right about there. Let me turn down the music. It's a little loud here. There we go. Perfect. All right. So, we're going to go back to that world I was working on last week. There we go. All right. I love this so much. Let's look at it again. Frickin' McDonald's. I love it. Windows G. That was a mistake. I was trying to screenshot it, but I'll figure it out later. Okay, so I was thinking about it. I think I'm gonna make a Taco Bell. I'm gonna make it over on this hill here. Ooh, wait a minute. What's in here? Yo quiero Taco Bell. I'm gonna crack through all this. There we go. I was still recording. Alright, perfect. Put you over here. I think that will actually be big enough right here. I'm going to do a similar thing with a rail there. Alright. So... there we go. Probably have to build up the rail a bit here. Go away, Enderman. We don't serve your kind here. Perfect. Okay. Just finished watching Friday Night Tights earlier. Always a fun episode with those, watching those guys. But it's a little somber today because after, you know, the Charlie Kirk murder. Pretty sad stuff, man. But it's always good to hear from the Friday Night Tights people. They always make things, I don't know, a little bit funnier and a little bit more fun, and just a nice little distraction from the craziness of the world we live in. I just think it's so interesting that in Minecraft here, for some reason I can't see the cursor on the screen I'm looking at here, but I can on the other one. This doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, I'll flip that up too. Perfect. Go away, spider. Okay, I'm trying to think. Let's see. Purple. I'm trying to remember, how did Taco Bells used to look? They had like a little arch in them. I'm trying to make an arch here. Maybe. We'll do this first though. Right. Yeah, it's been pretty crazy the last week here. So it's kind of nice to be able to kind of relax and enjoy the weekend now, right? Two, three, four, five, six. Now go back to the arch idea. Yeah. Yo quiero Taco Bell. You get so lost in this game, man. Just like kind of zone out. Is it the lantern, I think? Yeah, there it is. Not gonna lie, I might get some Taco Bell after this. Ooh, the zombies are hungry. Let's get some black concrete in there. I'd be wary of Twitter and Instagram and all those places right now. Like, I saw the video of Charlie getting shot, and it's pretty horrifying. One of the more horrifying things I've seen. No one deserves to die, especially like that. So rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. That was horrible. My wife and I just finished watching Wednesday season 2. I actually liked it. Curious to see where they go with season 3. Is a lever. Alright. See how well that works. Yes. That will run forever. Okay. Well, let me see. I think I'll go for another 10 minutes or so. I do need to stop a little early today. some white concrete. Let's get some yellow concrete. This will be the future one I do the next time I play this game. Oh. I need to make this bigger. Well, that needs some work. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing in and out the next time. Maybe I'll spend more time on that. Alright, well, that's pretty much all the time I have for today, guys. I started a little late today because I was finishing up watching the movie and then prepping to record. But yeah, like I said, these live streams will be on hiatus for a bit, just until the new year. Mostly because of school and work and church responsibilities and all that. I have a lot of stuff I need to do, and like I said, this is a hobby for me, doing the reviews and whatnot. So family, schoolwork, all that comes first. But you'll still be seeing weekly reviews that I will have time to do. They'll be about 10 to 15 like usual, and they'll still be released weekly on Mondays. You'll still see all the social media posts, all of that. So that's not going away. It's just the weekly streams just for the time being. But with that, this has been Really Old Movies. I'm your host, Harrison Scullin. Take care.